Hi guys, and welcome back to Hither Green TMD in Gauge, where we're going to continue the sound fitting project of the Class 50. Now, I hope you enjoyed the little sneak preview of the cold start. It's a long enough sound file, nearly 6 minutes from initial start to up and running, ready to move. Now, lighting functions. There's lots of different colour wires, as you saw yesterday when I took the top off the loco, so we've got a few wires to go through. Now, according to Heljan's own bump, it states here, the printed circuit board features 9 screw terminals, 18 in total, which is what it was, with colour coded wiring which match the standard NMRA decoder wire colours to enable easier installation of a wire decoder, which means with a standard drawing for wiring up this sound decoder, all the wires should match. So therefore, fingers crossed, this should be a straight install without any real problems. The only downside of this installation is the fact that for some reason Heljan, as well as other modelers, cab lights only work with the route indicator lights on. Now, as a driver, don't drive with the cab lights on because you can't see. You just get reflection off the windscreen at night and that's it, you're blinded. Exactly the same reason why you don't have lights on in the car and everything else when you drive your car. But the modelers, we seem to have to suffer with the fact that we have to have cab lights on. So I shall be looking at removing the cab lights, possibly wiring them separately to an alternative function, but that won't be in this video. This video is purely as it comes, wiring straight up to get the lights working as supplied by Heljan. So we're going back straight onto the bench again and we'll see how simple this really is. Okie dokie, so let's see what we got. Well, we've already connected the speaker, the motor and the wheel pickups, so we're concerning more about this end of the drawing. So what we have here is a common positive, load of blue wires, one for each light, a purple, a green, a white and a yellow. Well, we have blues, we have lots of blues, we have a couple of yellows here, some white wires, lots of white wires. I've got 4 of those, so I'm not sure which ones are what, but nevertheless we shall have a look and see what we can come up with. We'll match the colours in the sockets and hopefully the lights will work. If not, then we'll have some head scratching. I'll just move that out of the way. So we have 2 blue here. We've still got 2 blue connected on here. So what I'm going to do is disconnect these wires and pull them all through. Got to find the right screwdriver. Well, shall we see? Let's see how we can get. So shall we start with the blue wires? So we'll put all the blue wires in the U plus terminal, which is this one here. Now I should have 4 of those. One, move these 2 out of the way for a minute. Get these 2 out of the way. So that's 2. 3 and 4. Just, as I say, we're following their guide that their colours are right. Just grab my cutters. So we'll just strip these back. I'm going to pinch with my nails. I think that'll be the easiest way. It's just so that we can twist them together easier now that I'm going to have 4 on this one. Just to make it more manageable. So twist 2, twist these 2, and then twist 2 pins together. So hopefully these will go in. Okay, so the next one up is of the purple wires. Now we've got 2 of those. And they go in auxiliary 2. Okay, just cut us sharper. There's one. Oops. That's got that. Then auxiliary 1. Next one up is the green light wires. Three of those. For some reason, three. So I don't know where that becomes two wires. One goes to there, one to the light switch, one from the light switch. Well, that could be confusing, because that switch goes to a white wire. Oh. I can see this going wrong. Because we have a white to a yellow. Oh well, here we go, we're going to go wrong. Because these were all common, which is, I don't know if that was a positive common or a negative common. All the white wires, I suspect all the white wires are negative. Oh well, we'll just wind them in. We'll see what happens. We're not really going to do any damage to anything, I don't think. Or at least I hope not. But I think it's going to bypass the switches. Actually, we are going to bypass the switches, so we'll ignore the white and that green. What? Apparently. One screwdriver, where's that? There it is. So currently I've ignored the white wire which goes to the on and off switch. Now we have a front light and a rear light. So we've got a yellow wire, which is the rear light. One goes to the switch, so that one goes to one end. That goes to the switch, and this one goes to the other end. And this is and the front light is going to be the white wire from this end, and the white wire is that one that goes goes to the switch. That one goes through and out to here. So these are the two white lights, or the headlight wires, shall I say. So this will be, one will be forward, one will be reverse. But what we are not going to have, I don't think, is switching the lights off. But at the minute, that's not such a worry. But we'll see what lights we come up with. So the wires that are left, there's a green wire. So two green wires, a yellow wire, sorry, the green, yellow, two whites, and they are the two switches that turn off the head and tail light, or the tail lights and the headlight. Yeah, so it leaves the marker lights. I hope that makes sense. So I'm going to take this over to the layout and try it, and if it works I'm going to show you, otherwise I'm coming back to tell you what we got. Right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new day. This is actually the second day of this little connecting up the lights. Would you believe it? It's been a complete and utter minefield, but I got there in the end. I'd connected them up this way, wouldn't work. Then I'd connected them up with the blue wire as the positive and connected up the auxiliaries as on the instructions from CoastalDCC, and still didn't work, and I was pulling my hair out, and in the end I disconnected all of them and went away and just left it all disconnected. So having done another shift at work at 3 o'clock in the morning, I've come home, sat down and had a think. So this is what I've come up with. That is what I've come up with. Now if you observe, I'll bring this back over here, the common positive are all the blue wires to all the lights. Well, Heljan, who've stated they're using these colour codes and everything else, haven't quite got it right, according to this ESU diagram anyway. The colours, the greens, the whites, the yellows are the positive and the blues are the negative. So it's the opposite way around, because the switch the negative side and the positive is a permanent V. So having sorted out that the diagram is back to front, the colour codes, and how I did that was with my little 9-volt battery here, which I have used. I worked out which colour wire was the positive and which colour was the negative. Hence, that's how I worked out that the blue is actually the negative, not the positive, as per the original diagram. So then, following the wires, we've got blue and a white go to the route indicator lights at both ends. You've got a green and purple, which do the tail lights at each end, and you have a yellow and a blue, which do the headlights at each end, respectively. So now what we have here, which also threw me as well, we have auxiliary lights is number 3 and 4 is number 1 and 2 tail lights, and 1 and 2 route indicator lights or auxiliaries 5 and 6, and we have no F15 mentioned. Haha, that threw me, but we'll come to that in a minute. And FO for turning the lights on and off. So it's not that difficult. So we have the green, the white and the yellow from all ends come together and screw into the positive terminal here, the common positive. The green and the white and the yellow white
wires that are in here are the ones for the switches for turning on and off tail lights and headlights. Now we don't need those, so I've just, you can take them off completely and dispose of them, but I've just coiled up the wires and laid them back down this end. So originally you've got 3 yellow, 3 white, 3 green, no, it's even more, 4 white, so you had lots of wires. The ones from the switches just pull through, get out the way and leave the rest here. That makes it easier. So you've got the greens, the whites and the yellows that you have left go into the positive. This wire here, this blue wire here, goes into auxiliary 6, which is the number 2 end, because this is number 2 end, compresses that end, number 1 end. So number 2 end, number 1, that is the head code box light. Now that's easy to see because the wires run up the back of the, if I can just move this up a touch, bring it into shot, I'll bring up the other end, it's easy, there's more room. The blue and the white wires run up to this LED up the back wall of the cab partition. So you might just see them in there running up. So they're the first ones to do because you can see them easily. So they run separately under the wall here. So 1 blue, 1 white, all the way up to this end. Number 1 end, route indicator lights. Number 1 end, head code box, number 1 end, auxiliary 5. So the blue wire that runs out back from that light goes into auxiliary 5 here. That's that route indicator light, and the blue route indicator auxiliary 6 from this end is this wire here, auxiliary 6. Now these ones we're going to push and tidy up in a bit, but it's easier to see. So 5 blue wire from this end on this side goes underneath and into 5, and the blue wire on this side goes into number 6. So that's easy peasy. The purple and the green wires are the tail lights from each end. So number 2 tail light goes into auxiliary 3. So this purple wire that comes from this tail light goes into auxiliary 3, just there. And auxiliary 4, which is the one next to it, is the purple wire that loops through from underneath from the tail light at this end. So this wire here. So that's 3 and 4, 5 and 6 wired up. Dead easy. And the other blue wire on this side and on this side, this is number 1 end, so this is the front, so this one goes to FL, and this blue wire from this end goes to RL, because front and rear, dead easy, sorted. So that is where we now connect up all the wires. What I didn't read initially, I've put this on the track and tested it, so I now know exactly where the lights work. F11 does not turn on the tail lights, because I'd put on FO as you would do normally, function O to turn on the lights. So all the lights came on and all was brilliant. Hey, you got all my lights on, hang on, that's not quite what's meant to happen, is what I was thinking to myself. But anyway, because you turn the tail lights off, not on, you turn them off using this function. So you turn the lights on with FO, and then you select which lights you don't want on. So if you've got a train on and you don't want tail lights on the back end of the loco, you turn on F11, and that turns off the red lights. And again for the head code box F14, if you don't want the head code box on, which is also the cab lights unfortunately, I'm going to have to look at something for that to try and change that. But yeah, so F14 turns off the route indicator lights, but you can keep on the red lights. F15 is not written down, it's forgotten on my list. Mine is a slightly altered list for my specific, because I wanted the independent brake so that I can stop the locomotive, so I can drive it and shunt it and stop it and I want it not wait for it to coast to a stop. I have some control on that. But F15 turns off the headlights, so you can drive around on the yard with just the marker lights on and the tail lights on when you come on and off shed without a train on. So actually all lights in the configurations that you would need are obtainable with F11, F14 and F15. You can turn off whatever lights you wish. So that's that. We'll now go over to the layout. I hope it hasn't been too complicated, and we'll see the lights working. Okay, so here we go. As you would expect, so we'll turn FO on to turn on the lights. The direction is in the other direction, so we have tail lights on this end, which is good. And reverse direction, we have headlights and the marker lights on the top as well. So that's all the lights turned on. I can now turn off the headlights with F15. So I'll select function 15 and the headlight will go out, but the other marker lights will stay on. There we go. So they work. Turn that on. If I turn F12, oh no, sorry, F14 rather. F14, the route indicator light goes out and the headlight stays on. So we turn them back on. If I turn the function off, so we've now got those on. If I reverse the direction, so there we are. I've still got the lights on the front. You just see the glow there. And I'll select F11, turns off the tail lights, but I've still got the lights on the other end. I'll just move you around here. Card and the manual operation. As you can see, we still have the lights on at this end. And no tail lights. So there we go. So I'm now going to put the lights back on. I'm going to put the body shell back on the locomotive. I'm going to tuck the wires in that all draped across the loco here, and we'll have a look with the body shell on. So there we go. We have the lights on in normal. We go in the opposite direction, and the lights go out, and the tail light comes on. Just a single tail light, which is correct and prototypical. That's one end, excuse me. And so we'll turn the direction, so you get your front lights back on. So turn off the headlight, turn on headlight, turn on and off the marker lights. So there we go. We now have full light function on the CoastalDCC digital setup. So let's have a play.
Well, there we go, guys. We got it done finally. The wiring is sorted, goes in the right direction in accordance with the lights, and also on the controller by changing CV29. So the project is done. We have lights and sound on the Class 50. All that's left for me to do now is to give it a good weathering, because it is way too clean. So hopefully the information that I've managed to get across today has helped any of you that are looking at doing this. It's not as difficult as it sounds. I've done the hard bit. You can see what I've done, and any questions, I'm happy to send more photos if anybody needs photographs of the exact wiring and how I've done it, and always happy to help. So you know the drill by now. Like, subscribe, comments in the comments section below, and I'll get back to you with any assistance that I can give you, or if there's anything for me, by all means drop me a line, and tips both directions are always helpful. So stay safe, enjoy your modelling, and I'll catch you next time.